Well, Claude, I've been surprised by a few conversations recently, and that is job seekers suggesting that they have not applied to a job, although it matched their background and experience. And one of the reasons for that is they believe that due to the number of job seekers on the market, the company would have had hundreds of applications, and so they would not have had a chance, and so decided not to apply, which is not good.
No.
Business interactions will become more virtual. People will need to be more conscious of their online footprint. The reality is you won't be successful for every role, so don't be afraid of rejection. Try and use that as a motivation, and remember, every no is a step closer to a yes.
Hello, my name is Claudia and welcome to the Warrior Princess channel, where we sit down with inspiring people to discuss anything related to health, fitness, business, and relationships. I truly believe that each one of us is uniquely gifted and has so much potential to be successful. Some of us just need to have the right direction, belief, and mentorship. Enjoy. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Warrior Princess channel. In this episode, we're going to talk about how we can find work during this crazy time of COVID-19. Things like how to stand out from the crowd, which industries are hiring, and more. We have the honor to chat with Chris Gordon. He is a passionate career coach and a director of an Australian recruitment firm, Profusion Group. He has a wealth of knowledge, and let's make the most out of this opportunity to hear from him on how to find a job during this crazy time. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Claude.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the channel.
Anytime.
Thank you. Before we get into it, when I read your bio, there was something very interesting that I wanted to know. You had breakfast with Richard Branson. How does one person have breakfast with Richard Branson?
I was at an event that he was a speaker at, a small event in Sydney, probably around 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And he heard my English accent, came over for a chat and invited me to sit and have breakfast with him. So yeah, I made the most of the time. It was a good day.
Amazing. So you made an impression on him. So he invited you for breakfast. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
You need to teach me how you did that once we're off the channel. All right. Now, first question here. So this is probably one of the most uncertain times for both employers and employees when it comes to hiring. What would you, I guess, understand and know on how open employers are to hiring at the moment?
Yeah. Well, you're right, Claude. These have been uncertain times, and look, some industries have been affected a lot more than others. I mean, the majority of our clients within banking and financial services actually adjusted really well, surprisingly well, with interviewing and even onboarding new starters virtually, as well as setting up work from home capabilities, which a lot of businesses have now had to do.
Yeah.
Back to around March or April time, a few businesses decided to withdraw offers or put jobs on hold due to the uncertainty. But I would say around 70 to 75% of businesses progressed with hires that were already in the recruitment process.
Yeah.
But the job market since probably May onwards has been fairly quiet. And as an example of that, Seek have noted a 32% reduction in jobs for the month of June versus the corresponding period last year. It's quite a bit.
It's a significant amount less.
Big drop. It is. But look, on a positive note, we've seen a slight increase in jobs and adverts recently.
Yeah.
With businesses also suggesting that once further restrictions are eased, pending Melbourne at the moment,
yeah,
more staff returning to the office, and companies also having new budgets going into the new financial year, we're hopeful the job market will continue to increase.
Okay. When it comes to the employment rate here in Australia, obviously it has increased tremendously in the last few months. When would you expect and predict that it will actually be as normal again as before the pandemic?
In some areas, the next 5 to 6 months, we'll see an increase in redundancies and a loss of roles.
Yeah.
Uh, but then demand will remain and likely increase in others, like financial services. You're right, we've seen an uplift in unemployment to 7.4%, and it's likely to go higher when the government stimulus ends or reduces. It seems to be a common view that unemployment will rise towards the 8% figure by the end of the year. And although there are some positive signs out there, corporate earnings season is just around the corner. We'll understand much more about the well-being of Aussie companies when listed companies start sharing their results over the next few months. In saying this, I believe we'll get back to normal faster than most economies. However, it's likely to be a couple of years before unemployment will return to the standard 5% level.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's going to be a very challenging couple of years, maybe for us in Australia, well, for the world. But we have to stay positive, and well, obviously that's why you're here in helping us finding, you know, jobs or how to stand out in this crowd. So one more thing before we actually start into asking about the job search. So how are companies still continuing to hire, like with Zoom and phone interviews? Yeah, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, look, many businesses are happy to interview through Zoom, Skype, and other platforms. Some businesses have even onboarded new starters without actually going to the office, seeing their environment, or meeting the team.
Crazy for me to think about that. Like, is it actually working well, or yeah, on both ends for both the employee and employer?
It is. Look, it's not ideal, but it's just the way of the world at the moment.
Yeah.
I think businesses and candidates would prefer to start work in that way and not to stop.
Yeah.
Most companies are now happy to run a full recruitment process virtually, but that would never have happened, say, 4 to 5 months ago.
No, exactly. I guess it's a bit challenging as well on both ends to, I guess you have to have that trust level by physically not being there, and to trust that the work gets done with the new starter and that they are comfortable as well in just finding the right balance, just sitting there by themselves in their own room.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what advice would you have for job seekers to, I guess, find work here? Should they start looking now? I guess a few questions that I have here is, let's say someone was building their career and suddenly lost their job. What would you recommend? Should they wait until their another dream job opportunity comes up, or should they just look for any job and accept it?
Well, Claude, I've been surprised by a few conversations recently, and that is job seekers suggesting that they had not applied to a job, although it matched their background and experience. And one of the reasons for that is they believe that due to the number of job seekers on the market, the company would have had hundreds of applications. And so they would not have had a chance, and so decided not to apply, which is not good.
No, yeah.
Good at all. So look, my advice is to get your profile in place, your LinkedIn account, your resume, and if a position is suitable, then 100% apply for it.
Yeah.
And look, to give you an example, last week I advertised a couple of roles on Seek and the ad response was minimal. I would love more people to apply for jobs, and you may be surprised by the outcome.
Wow, that's so crazy. So it's literally that mentality, like not even giving it a go because of the fear, or kind of like it's not going to go anywhere anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, this is probably then the best season to apply because people have that mentality. So maybe I have a bigger chance, for example. Um, okay, so now with the unemployment rate, again, with in Australia, has risen up to, I think, almost to 1 million. Obviously, there is competition, although people are not applying, as you said, but there might still be competition, I guess, when they do apply. What would your advice be for them to stand out? Is it an excellent LinkedIn profile, or beautiful graphics on a resume, or what would your advice be?
Look, I love this question, and this is why I'm here to help. Okay. Look, given business interactions will become more virtual, people will need to be more conscious of their online footprint. Now, whether that is being more proactive on Seek or LinkedIn to encourage traffic to your page, and also ensure that you're updating your LinkedIn profile to gain like employers' interest.
Hmm.
LinkedIn is predominantly white collar. So if LinkedIn is not really applicable, then make sure that you at least register with Seek and Indeed.
Yeah.
Once you've registered a profile, you'll be emailed jobs that match your profile. And also, most recruitment companies have access to the Seek database. And so you'll have a much better way of, recruiters tracking you down.
Yeah.
So what you can do to promote yourself through various online vehicles would definitely be worthwhile. Okay. Now, people should also ramp up studies or personal development during this time. Job seekers should take advantage of any training opportunities that have been made available by the government. If an employer sees that you were stood down a few months ago, but you use that time to enhance your skills, then that's definitely going to be viewed well, in a positive way by any hiring manager. Finally, resumes are also still very important. So you should edit your resume to match the job that you're applying for and highlight any achievements that you may have had in previous roles that match responsibilities. And that's achievements such as transformed, exceeded, doubled, implemented, maybe identified, achieve or established, those sorts of things.
That's so good. Okay. And then when it comes to, let's say, resume advice, well, I have two questions here. One, so for each job, should you then change your or not change, but adapt your resume accordingly? Is that, yeah.
Definitely, Clause. You'll have the strong base of your resume, but for the job that you're applying for, if you see a job advertised and you see the job responsibilities, what you may have done them previously but not included them in your resume, make sure you do. So edit your resume to suit the job that you're applying for.
Okay, good. And then another question here is, so let's say someone is needing or wanting advice around their own personal resume and LinkedIn profile or Seek profile. Can they reach out to you, or where can they reach out to get some help? Obviously, this is a great investment for any job seeker, because this will be their foundational piece to find work and to stand out.
100%. Look, if anybody wants to look at my LinkedIn profile, feel free to do so. Christopher Gordon, Fusion Group. Anyone can look at that and copy their profile, my profile, to use that as a template. And obviously, within recruitment, we see many resumes. We have a standard template that we use. It prompts people to add things to the resume. So if anybody wants to see that, I'm more than happy to share it.
Oh, amazing. Well, thanks, Gordon. Chris Gordon. Now, do you have any advice on making a strong impression over Zoom? So let's say with me here, over Zoom, I've tried, good lighting. I'll put some plants in the background. I actually saw that over someone else's Zoom, so I thought that was pretty cool. And books. Do I look intelligent now? But what advice do you have on just standing out over a Zoom interview besides the looks?
Well, totally. That the best piece of advice would be to approach the interview exactly as you would a face-to-face interview.
Yeah.
Obvious but important points would be to prepare and practice the day before, just to ensure you're used to using the software. And also use a quiet room, maybe avoid videoing from your bathroom, for example.
Yeah.
Because trust me, that happens.
Oh, funny. Yeah.
It does. Make sure that the background is clean and tidy. Try and have the camera at eye level. It's very important to dress as you would for a face-to-face interview, unless told otherwise. So always smile, keep your eye on the camera and be yourself.
Yeah, amazing. Well, that's so good to know. Thanks, Chris. Now, let's say we found jobs, or this is just for people that are still working and working from home. Obviously, in your situation, personally, I know that you've been working from home for a few years now, and you've been very successful and still killing it as you do. And yeah, I wanted to know how do you balance that? What would your advice be? I know a lot of people have been struggling with the fact that they are isolated or feeling lonely, not having that interaction and meetings face to face, not being motivated as well. What would your advice be?
You're right, Claus. Look, if you've not been used to working from home, then the adjustment can be a challenge. It has been for a number of people, including people within our recruitment company. So my advice would be to set up a dedicated office space and set your desk exactly as you would, in your office or your previous work environment. Like working from the kitchen bench or maybe from your sofa, obviously that's not sustainable. Also, you'll need to plan out your day and stick to it. So create an action list. Be realistic with it and commit yourself to completing it. So, working from home, it can cause a lot of distractions. However, if you have your day mapped out in front of you and you commit yourself to completing everything that you need to do, then also reward yourself. Okay? Now, look, another issue has been the lack of contact with colleagues or maybe teammates. And if that's the case, then set up regular Zoom or Skype meetings.
Yeah.
They don't need to be work related. And to give you an example of that, we have a team in our business, and they take out 15 minutes per day on average to have a coffee break over Zoom.
Oh, nice.
We also have another team that go out and get food ingredients and then make lunches together. So try to keep the social aspects of your role high.
Yeah.
I know that helps.
Okay, nice. Now, how would you reward yourself after completing your daily to-do list?
Look, if you have your to-do list and you take everything off, then it could be an earlier finish. It could be perhaps to have an extended lunch. It could obviously working from home, you do need to exercise. So maybe split the day up and go to the gym as well.
Yeah, very good, very good. Okay, and then I guess we're going to wrap this interview up. The information you've given has been very useful, and I'm sure that this will help a lot of people here in Australia or all over the world, really, with your tips and advice on, I guess, creating an online profile and presence, and yeah, just getting out there and being, I guess, the best in their Zoom interviews and stuff as well. What would your final, I guess, encouragement words be for anyone listening?
Yeah. Look, you're right, Claude. You know, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. For some industries, the signs are more positive than others. But if you work in an industry that is struggling at the moment, then use this time to your advantage and upskill, or maybe try and achieve a personal goal that you may have been too busy for in the past. But again, put yourself out there. The reality is you won't be successful for every role. So don't be afraid of rejection. Try and use that as a motivation. And remember, every no is a step closer to a yes.
So beautiful. That's really nice. And how can people reach out to you? So you mentioned LinkedIn. Do you have a website? You do have Instagram now. I saw that. You just enter that market. That's awesome. So is it Christopher.Gordon dash?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah.
Although I work within financial services, I want to make it very clear that we're here to help anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
So if you need a resume template or help with behavioral type questions, I'm more than happy to help. If people do want to contact me, Perfusion's websites, all my details are on there, LinkedIn, and as you say, Instagram too.
Great. I will put all those links below here in the caption. So anyone that wants to reach out to Chris and who wants to get some advice or some help around their job search, you can contact Chris below. I hope you enjoyed this episode and got something out of it that you can apply to your own life. If you have any feedback, topics you would like to cover, or people you'd like to hear from, feel free to drop me an email at hello@warriorprincess.com.au. And don't forget to subscribe to the Warrior Princess YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram at ckline.fit. Until next time.